Good afternoon, friends. Welcome back. Today is an exciting day. Today, I've received my heads back for my 66 Shovelhead. Check these things out. They are all freshened, completely rebuilt, and ready to go. They've been vapor honed. I've got new valves, new guides, new everything installed, so these things are ready to rock and roll. And since these are ready to rock and roll, that means I need to get the rocker boxes ready to rock and roll. Obviously, these have been vapor honed and then they were polished, but they have nothing inside of them. So today we're going to work on setting these things up. Now I am working out of the Harley Davidson manual. Let me look at this one here. Today I'm working out of the Harley Davidson service manual. This is from 1959 to 1969. This will serve all of my needs here. I am on page 3B-2. So this shows me how to assemble these rocker boxes. We'll get into how to put these things together, and then we'll set end play. Now I have these set up. My front one is the furthest away from me. My front head, excuse me, and my rear head is closest to me. The rockers themselves are the stock rockers that came out of this motorcycle, and I did clean them, and I'm going to just reuse them. We'll check end play and all that good stuff. I do have some new outer hardware, so we'll go through the process of reassembling these things and show you exactly what you need to do. Okay, looking at our rocker boxes, if you look at the front of these, right, this is what you would see on the left-hand side of the bike. This is what faces essentially the exhaust side of the bike. So in looking at that, how to determine front and rear heads, there is an oil line that crosses between the two heads. Obviously, if you're looking at the rocker cover, right, so the rear head would be on the right-hand side, this oil passage would be, and the oil passage on the other one would be on the left-hand side. So this is our rear head. This one's actually also marked. This has an R on it. Now these are aftermarket. These are not the stock Harley Davidson ones that you normally would have. So these are actually an aftermarket rocker cover. This is what came on the bike. So this is what got cleaned up, and this is what's going back on the bike. I was not going to source a set of 1966 rocker box covers or rocker covers because I'm not sure what they would cost. I'm sure they'd be expensive, and I'm not restoring the bike to 100% or 100 point restoration. I'm just putting it back together to be a rider. Anyway, in looking at this rocker cover, I'm going to go ahead and flip the cover over, and I'm going to start with the rear exhaust. Now I have these loosely put together, and these are the way they came apart. So you've got your end nut here. I know there's a washer that goes on that. For whatever reason, this did not have those washers. I do have replacement outer hardware, and I'm going to be using that. So these will at least be cleaned up, and it'll have the proper washer. There is also this guy here, this rocker arm spacer. So these things were in there already. And then you have your rocker shaft. And then you have your rocker itself. So I'll go ahead and wipe these things down before I start assembling these. With the rocker cover upside down here and my rocker in hand, I'm actually going to take and I'm going to put a little assembly lube in each one of the ends just to make everything play nice. Now, if you're looking at the rocker itself, this is the section here that hits the valve, and this is the section here that hits the push rod. So you'll actually fish this into the rocker itself, the box itself, just like this. But we're not going to do that just yet. We'll go ahead and just put a little bit of assembly lube in there just so everything has a lubrication on it, and then the parts will play nicely because I'm not quite ready to run this engine yet. So we'll slide our rocker in place. With that slid in place, we'll take our rocker shaft itself and we'll begin to slide this through. Now we don't want it to go all the way through because we need this bushing. So we need to go ahead and put that in. So that's actually going to go right between the rocker itself and the box. So hopefully you can see that in there. That's going to go in place. Go ahead and slide this through the rest of the way. Add a little bit more assembly lube to the outside of this thing just because it is sliding into that box, and that stuff's all clean and everything's pretty dry. With our rocker shaft in place here, you'll see there's a little bit protruding on the end. Now there's a washer that goes in place next. So the washer looks like this. So that will go on. And there's the nut that goes on the end of that. We're just going to hand tighten this stuff for right now. I'm not going to torque it down, not yet. And as you can see, I have one rocker loosely assembled in here. Everything does move inside. I'm going to tighten this up once I get everything assembled on both of the rocker boxes, and then we'll check the end play. Now, I did not replace the end caps here. I couldn't find a set that I liked. These are old, and I love the look of them, and I wanted to keep these. So I did not try to find a new set. I believe these are one piece. I don't know that these come apart. They may. I didn't try to take them apart, and I wasn't going to. Anyway, let's go ahead and work on that intake. So when you're looking at the rocker assembly itself, right, you've got your rocker shaft, you've got your rocker arm, you've got your bushing, and then every once in a while you'll have another spacer or an additional bushing, and then you got your end cap here. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the old end caps off, setting those aside, and I've just taken these things out and put them back together exactly how they came out. So I'm going to reverse engineer this and put them back in this way, so that way they're together the way they should be. I'll go ahead and dry these parts off because they do have a little bit of cleaner on them still, and I don't want that in the bike. Of course, there's a rubber O-ring here. I did not replace these. I probably should have, and this may bite me in the butt, but it is really pliable. This stuff still feels like rubber. I don't have a set of these, unfortunately, so I'm not going to replace them right now. Again, I probably should have, but I'm not doing it because, like I said, it does feel pliable, so I think it's in good shape, so I'm just going to run it. All right, I'm actually going to put the assembly lube on the shaft itself this time. We will take our rocker and we'll fish it into the rocker box. With that in the rocker box, we'll get our shaft in place here. We'll take our two bushings and we'll get those in place as well. And then we'll just slide everything together. Now getting it over the O-ring sometimes does take a little bit, so I do have my hammer, and we'll go ahead and we'll push everything in place till it bottoms out. I'll wipe off my excess assembly lube, and then we'll get our hardware out. Again, we'll slide our washer in place. We'll get our new nut in place. Just gently thread everything on. And for now, again, everything's just hand tight. Now we'll go ahead and we'll work on the front head. Okay, I do not see a torque spec for these end nuts in the book, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to go back and find that. But for now, I think I'm just going to tighten these up, just hand tighten them. So I've got a 15/16 wrench for my outers, and then on the other side, I've got a 5/8 wrench. And I'm going to go ahead and just tighten these up to what I feel should be proper, because we're going to start checking end play here. All right, with everything tightened up, now what we need to do is check end play. And what we're talking about here is how far the rocker shaft slides back and forth. And these probably don't need any correction because, like I said, I took everything apart and this bike was together and I believe it was rebuilt, but I went through it anyway. And I don't know that there's any end play here because, like I said, I pulled the washers and the spacers and everything out. So the shims and the bushings, or the spacers, excuse me, were all out and put back exactly how they came out. So we'll still check them to make sure there's no movement here. And if there is, we'll correct it if need be. What we're going to be looking for is between the space here, between the rocker shaft itself and the bushing there, we're going to be looking for between 4 thousandths and 25 thousandths end play. So we're going to try to find that. We're going to get my gauges out here and go ahead and start measuring and see where we're at. Typically, this process takes a lot of work. What you're going to see is you're going to have to put this together, tighten it up, take it apart, put it together, take it apart, just because you're checking the end play here. And often what you're doing is you're putting different shims in. This should be set, but we're just going to check it anyway just to make sure we're within spec. We're going to start with the intake side first on the rear. I do have my 4/1000 gauge pulled out, and I can slide this one in pretty easily. So we'll check and see exactly how much spacing we have there. So I have 9/1000 of end play on the intake side. We'll check the exhaust side. And again, you want to push the rocker arm all the way down. We're going to start with our 4/1000 and see where we're at. You can see I'm sliding the 4/1000 in between, and that slides in kind of nicely. It's hard to do one-handed and get it on camera, but that does slide in there real well. We'll check it at 5, but I don't know that 5 is going to fit in there. 5 does not. So this is at minimum spec here. This is at 4/1000, so that one's good. Like I said, this one's at 9. We'll set that aside, and we'll check the other side. Again, we're going to pull those rocker shafts, so those rocker arms all the way down. Check our exhaust side first. 5/1000 fits in there pretty easily. We're at 7/1000 of end play on the exhaust side. We'll check our intake side. We'll start right at 4 again. 4 fits in pretty easily. That was 9/1000. Let's check out 10/1000. 10 fits pretty easily. I may need to get a shim for this one. We'll go all the way to 25/1000 and see if it's still loose or it fits. 25 does not, so that's the maximum it can go is 25/1000, and 25 does not fit, so we'll back it down from there and see where we're at. We'll try 20. 20 does not fit either. 18 does not fit. So it looks like 17/1000 is what fits this one. That's a little looser than the rest, and maybe I'll have to get a shim just to get this right. It does move nicely in there, and all these do rotate like they should, and that's the biggest thing, is you want to make sure everything rotates really well. Well, friends, that's it for this one. This was a quick and easy video. We've got a couple of rocker boxes assembled here. Got my dirty, greasy fingerprints all over my nice polished boxes, so I'll have to go ahead and clean these at some point. Anyway, this is a fairly simple process. Obviously, I couldn't show you all of the work that could potentially go into it because these were already set. Now, if you're starting with fresh rocker shafts, fresh rockers, you just replace the bushings, all that good stuff, you'll run into having to take these things back apart and go through them to make sure that your end play is set properly. Now with the one, I may get some shims yet, and I may take that out. I might not. I might start it up and run it and see how that goes. It is the front head, so being that it's the front head, I should be able to get that out of the bike while the engine's still in place, I believe. So I might see how loud it is. The biggest thing you want to think about with these is when you're assembling these, what tolerances you have. The closer you get to that 20/1000 mark or 25/1000 mark is the more noise these shafts are going to have. You're going to hear the rockers clattering in there really hard. And I don't want to have a bunch of top end noise. So I'm thinking I'm going to get another shim for this just to get it right and get it closer to that 4/1000 mark. Because most of them were under 10. That one was, in my opinion, very heavily worn. It's not that it's worn, it just doesn't have the right shim in place. And that shim is, of course, creating too much play in that, and I don't really want that. I want to eliminate the noise, so I'm thinking that I'm going to go ahead and find some shims for this and redo that one. Well, friends, of course, if you like this video, give it a like, give it a thumbs up. If you have questions or comments, please drop them in that comment section below. If you are enjoying my content and you feel that your friends may enjoy this content, please share with your friends. Share on all your social media platforms as well, helping to spread this page further. To my members who have joined my page, thank you. For the people that are actually part of the membership program who can see these videos when they come out, I really appreciate that. I thank you for that engagement, and I look forward to continuing to make videos that you can see quickly. Of course, again, like I said, if you haven't been subscribed, hit the subscribe button because I have the rest of this engine to put together, and I know you're going to want to see that come together. Well, friends, that's it for this one. We'll catch you next time.